Johnson, legend, superhero.
No, not at all. Okay, I'll start then, and perhaps we can get a few teething problems behind us, and maybe have a few questions at the end or something. So I can see Fiona Hartree there. That's better than Mark's face. Great one. Okay, then. So I'm going to belt on. Make it something like 40 minutes. Just really, it is an icebreaker. We've got this COVID-19 thing going on, and all it is for the next 40 minutes is really a potted history about me, really. So I apologise. Look, it's the interactive edition. All I'm trying to say is that, look, I won't be swearing. It's totally suitable for kids, this presentation. So you add your own swear words in the privacy of your own home. You can just say whatever you like, ad-lib, whatever you fancy. So I've got 7 sections, as you can see. Most of it is going to be London Marathon, really. Sad as it is to run 26.2 miles on tarmac and concrete, but never mind. Let's crack on with section 1. This is just really when I was a twinkle in my mother's eye, really. My dad is shown there, I think. Oh, yes, I've got the mouse up. Hopefully people can see that there. That's my dad. He was born in 1914. He's working on a Bristol Hercules engine, I think, which is a big radial engine, in a Beaufighter. The picture top left is a Beaufighter. The Germans hated this damn thing. The Germans called it Whispering Death. It had got 2, something like 1,800 horsepower engines. As you can see there, the thing was a lethal thing. 4 great big cannons in the nose. It was a dreadful piece of kit. Well, very effective piece of kit. So that was my dad, bless him. He's long gone now. He died in 95. These are some more pictures from the Second World War. You can see a broken Beaufighter there. And my dad was sent to Burma because he nearly crashed a Spitfire into a Lancaster, actually, in the UK. So they sent him off to Burma. And you can see what he would do in Burma is any crashed airplanes, they would go and scavenge the bits off these airplanes, as you can see there. Something like that Hercules engine down there, that's 7 cylinders at the front and then another 7 at the back. That sleeve valve, that is, for all you Jeffrey engineered types, still on my dad. So then my dad, look over here at the left there, he's like mid-40s and he met my mom who's just 21. My dad's born in 1914 and my mom's born in 1936. There's 24 years difference there. And they had these 4 little pesty boys and a sister as well. I apologise, Marianne, there's not a picture of you here. But yeah, if you listen or read the Tim Noakes book, he'll say if you want to be a good runner, then choose your parents very carefully. And I think with the best will in the world, I've got some decent genes, but, not the best, obviously. Look at Callum Hawkins, look at Ollie Stevenson, look at all these rapid types in Carnethy. But yes, we had a local coach company, as you can see there. This is a picture of, I think it's my brother Pete, in the main workshops here. We had lorries, we had furniture lorry that you can see there, coaches left and right. So I was brought up in this environment. We were always breaking things, fixing things, got the dogs there, look, the German Shepherds at the front. So yeah, it's a very active little childhood, really. We were given so much rope, blimey. Then this damn thing, I remember this coach because it was petrol and it always used to break down all the way. So the kids at school used to rib the hell out of me because I used to go to class or something and I was the only, there's only 5 of us in class because my coach had broken down and 20 of them had been stranded up the road on this damn vehicle. So I was always known, sorry about this picture. I was always interested in making things, as you can see here. Sorry about my Speedos and stuff like this. This is what we wore in the 70s, by the way, girls. That was just normal then. Apologies to everybody. But yeah, this Bristol monoplane skates, I was making little model airplanes. I was just keen on making stuff at that age. The real full-size things you can see there on the next slide. This Bristol monoplane skate, they've got one at Shuttleworth collection have got one. That's a real full-size Bristol monoplane Scout flying. Don't worry too much about the spec or something, but I'll go on an arrow up towards the engine just to remind me to tell you that the whole engine is going round here. The propeller is fixed to the crankcase, and the whole shooting match goes round. You hold the crankshaft still, and the feeling was, there's some pictures to follow, this is a rotary engine there. The feeling was in the First World War in 1916, 1917, that they needed to rotate the whole engine so that the engine could cool. You know, that was the worry, that they need the additional rotational effects of cooling that engine. But it's a lovely idea that the whole engine goes round, and here you can see a bicycle with that same sort of engine in the back wheel, and here you can see a motorbike with that same sort of engine idea in the front wheel. Both these two things, all these things would be worth a fortune now. Yes, fair enough. I'm making one of my little projects is to make a little wooden engine. Obviously, it's only just, you know, I want to go through to toy manufacturers and make something like this, because the cams will work. The cams run at half engine speed. The whole thing can be timed. You know, a kiddie could make a plastic model like this, and it can be timed for the inlet to open, the exhaust to open. Everything can, you know, work. I've got to do something with it at some point. Yes, this is an engine I'm making. Forget it though. This is one of the most staggering photographs, in my opinion, is that this is Gerald Smith. He's dead and gone now, but I did attend a lecture of his. Designing fantastic engines. This, I think it's like an 18-cylinder radial. It's a radial, so the engine stays still in this case. The propeller's on the crankshaft, and the propeller and the crankshaft go around. But that engine layout had not been made in full size. It's only been made in model size. I did make this thing, a Jeep. These are my kids riding this Jeep. And that Jeep, I'm glad to say, look, it's March 2020. These are photographs from my an ex-work colleague, and it's still running, that Jeep. And the kids are still laughing and having a good time with it. I hope people are listening. I'm just talking crazy. So Mark or Ollie, if you could say, yes, we're going to hear you, Bob. Just keep going.
Can you hear us, Bob? I think you can't hear us.
No, I can't hear much of you guys, Ollie. Can you can hear me okay though, can you? And you can see the slides changing?
We can hear you. It's fantastic. You can hear me, obviously?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Well, look, just pause there for a second, Bob. To everybody else, sorry again about the teething problems. This was working perfectly yesterday. We'll make sure we get it better for next time. If you have any questions or any comments, the best thing is in the chat window, because if we open everybody's mics 69 times, it's just going to be, we won't be able to hear anything. So if you've got any comments or questions, put them in the chat window. And one of us, maybe Laura, is going to be monitoring that, and every now and again she can chip in and have a chat with Bob. Yeah, Bob, fantastic. Keep going. I'm loving it.
Okay, good. So yeah, just a few more projects I've made. Really, I shan't really say too much about this, but like I've been trying to say in this section, choose your parents carefully. So obviously Paula Radcliffe and Gary, they've got two potential champions here. Super runners. I was there. I was there on that day. She got the 2:15:24, but I'm going to speak about that later anyway. And Romeo, like David Beckham and Victoria, Romeo's a damn good runner. The 3-mile run that he did at the end of the London Marathon one year was fantastic. Obviously, he can't sing very well either. But no, good luck to him. Choose your parents carefully. The other thing I would say is, like Nicky's here, enjoying a running. That I think this was Edinburgh Half Marathon, one of the halves. I got the Carnethy strip on there. Probably doing about a 125 in those days. Nowadays, I can't get down to less than 130. Sad as it is. Okay, so that's section one. I'm going to crack on, and I'm hoping that I've got something for everybody. So if you're bored, then stick with me. I hope to have something for you next. I think Yes, as a kid, I was also always interested in motorbikes. We used to get these Vespa scooters. That's an Italian Piaggio type scooter, and we used to cut these flipping boards off and just run them around the place. That's a Zundat Bella. That's worth a fortune, and we had one of those and wrecked it as well. That's a German thing. I just wanted to mention these two rotivated because when I was about 10 years old, my dad had one of these that would never work, and I just fluked it. I got it running, and that 10-year-old, i.e. me, getting this thing going, it sort of convinced my dad that I should be an engineer. And from that day on, I was always going to be an engineer, and I am interested in all this stuff. I've made bikes like this. I tried to get, I can't think, Isla Roundtree. I tried to get Isla interested in a BMX tandem like this. You see two kids on a tiny little BMX tandem. It looks fantastic. So, yeah, I'm making stuff here at an early age. I don't know what that red thing is on the screen there, but never mind. This is a bicycle that I've cut in half and lengthened, and then put a little petrol engine in. And then I'm just trying to give the impression that I'm doing this famous Bonneville Salt Flats record attempt here, top left. This chap had a Vincent HRD, I think, something like that, a very old British motorbike. He was trying to get a record on it. And in the normal sat position with his shirt flapping and all his leathers on, he couldn't get the record. And the only way he could get the record was to lie down in just his pants, going flat out across this salt flats like that. So here's me trying to do the same, not as well. I'm going to make a frame for this engine at some point. Let's pass that though. So I said I would cut my teeth in a difficult or quite a hard area of motorsport, and this is what used to be called scrambling. In the old days, scrambles meant that you rode for half an hour, a certain length of time, and then it got changed to motocross. And to the right there, you can see motocross. This is the two, myself at the front here, Bob, and with my brother John following. We were both in the colours of our club at the time, racing for the club in a team race. So forget it. But this is one thing you used to worry about. Jumping on a motorbike next to somebody was always worrying. This is me again on this German thing, this Mako thing. We're on drum brakes for everybody that is worried about stopping the thing, because you always worry. You get the brakes too hot, you couldn't bring them to a standstill very well. These are the traditional fork positions where you had your stanchions up here underneath those rubber gaiters and your forks are down here. So that's the usual setup. So this is a German two-stroke in there, 250cc. Quite a nice bit of kit. Bought it for the first thing I ever bought new in my whole life. And it was just over £1,000 brand new in about 76, 77. My only claim to fame is that I raced against this chap here. This is David Thorpe. He went on to be 3 times motocross world champion. He was probably the best off-road rider that we've ever produced in Britain. He had this thing, this 500 Honda down here, bottom left, which is 500cc single. Hell of a thing. Absolute beast of a thing. So yes, when he rode for Honda, he was 3 times world champion, and then he left Kawasaki in the end, and he didn't get any further honours really. It didn't work out very well with Kawasaki. But you get some fantastic action shots from this motocross game. It is one of the toughest sports in the world. We only packed up ourselves because a friend of ours actually crashed and broke his neck and ended up in a wheelchair for 30 odd years. He died about 3-4 years ago at the age of just over 60 odd. But yeah, the stuff that these motocross blokes do in midair is absolutely ridiculous. You know, this is maybe freestyle motocross. This is where they do a jump as high as possible and just do a trick in midair. This sort of stuff, top right there, bottom down here. I think that's Scott Ferry, one of the American riders. But things do go wrong. This chap isn't hurt yet, but he's going to be hurt very soon when he makes contact with this stuff down here. And of course, you've got a bike that's maybe 220 odd pound. It's, what is that, 180, 90 kilograms or something that's going to chase you down onto the deck as well. So things go wrong. So, moving on then, let's look at the clock. Yeah, I've got about 30 minutes to go, so hold with me. I'm going to try and talk about more things that are more consistent with the Carnethy Club, and I'm going to try and follow this chap, this famous Englishman called Edward Whymper. So yes, Edward Whymper made the first ascent of Matterhorn, but I'll come back to the Matterhorn in a minute. One of the things I did try as a kid, so before I joined any running clubs or anything like that, 31st of August 1991, for the second attempt, I tried to do the Welsh 3000. So we actually started in the north there, as you can see there, and progressed all the way over 14 mountains and ended up at Snowdon and stopped the watch at Snowdon. So if I enlarge that a bit, you start out by something like Folfras up there. Oh no, Folfras is further than that. You start well up to the north and you follow this route of 14 peaks. There's a little spur there up to Ur Ellen. So the club is full of fantastic runners that are doing stuff like this, except of course you guys are doing the Charlie Ramsey or doing Paddy Buckley. These are the rounds and Bob Graham. But yes, we did it in the reverse direction. If you want to try for the record of this, then you should start at Snowdon and come this way. But I've got details to follow anyway. But it's about, what did I say somewhere? Look, it's 26 miles. It's a hell of a marathon with 4,000 meters of ascent. And we were only kids. We were 30 odd when we tried this thing. And just quickly, there's some pictures. I got this dodgy moustache at the time. But we tried to raise money for Worldwide Fund for Nature, I can barely say it. And there was 4 of us. That's my brother there, myself, and this chap here is my brother-in-law's brother. I don't know what that's called in terms of relationships. And this was a friend of his. I can't even remember his name. So this is towards the beginning. The numbers on these have been reversed because we've used the same numbering as for the first time. But yeah, so we're something like the 3rd or 4th peak in there. Looks like, 2 hours in or something. And more pictures. This is on the Carnage now. And then this is a break, probably down on the A5, I think, as we cross the road and go up onto the Glidders, I think. So yeah, that picture was taken in here somewhere. Where's the Trifan? I'm not sure what the Welsh pronunciation would be. Trifan or Trifan is the famous mountain that you've got to really scramble up it, and there's Adam and Eve, the 2 big rocks at the top of it, and you try and jump from one rock to the other. So this is us finishing. This is yours truly. Still got the dodgy moustache. 9 hours 25:50. Look, that we did the whole thing in. Just looked at the records. Angela Carson's got the ladies' record. As far as I can tell, anyway, reading up the internet, I think only yesterday, 1989. That was 5 hours 28. So Jasmine's got to be looking at that. Okay, it's a bit short of a run for Jasmine, or maybe Helen or somebody else in the club could go after that. The men's record has just gone to Finley Wild last year at some point. Look, he went down to 4:10. Colin Donnelly, who we've been scrapping with, everybody in the Border Cross Country series, we've been scrapping with Colin for the last 6 rounds. He's killed me on every round. He put 2 or 3 minutes into me every time. But yes, his record stuck since 88 to 2019, and Finley Wild's taking it. So that 4:19 was a fantastic run, that was. And of course, Josh Naylor had it before then. I don't know when, but it was apparently, Donnelly's record was about 10 minutes faster than Josh Naylor's, I read. I don't know what that is exactly. With regard to other mountaineering, when in 2003, I did do Mont Blanc, and I think we went up here somewhere. Is that Mont Maudit over here? Then up there, that's the main dome of Mont Blanc. Descending down the other side was scary as hell because we went down a couloir with rocks and stuff coming down, and there was a fatality down there. They couldn't get the body off, so we ran past the flipping somebody's dead body at the bottom of the mountain to get off. So that was pretty. I'll never forget that day. I was guided, so it is cheating, really. We've got people like Ollie, we've got people like Oh, blimey, I can't. Jamie Thin, proper mountaineers, and we'll get those guys to speak at some point. But yes, in order to go up the Matterhorn, then I did Castor and Pollux with this chap called Freddie. Castor and Pollux, got to be a little bit careful how I say that. But these are two mountains just over 4,000 meters that you do as a test day. And if you can behave yourself and not lose the plot on Castor and Pollux, then they let you go to the Matterhorn the next day. And this is the normal route. The Hornley hut is down here somewhere, and this is the Hornley Ridge. This is the most popular way of getting up. We put our crampons on somewhere up there because all this stuff is still pretty decent rock climb, really. It's only about 3,000 feet from here, but it's fantastically isolated mountain. And essentially, you're stepping between Switzerland and Italy. I think I've got that right up there. And of course, when Edward Whymper first did the ascent of this, on the way down, one of the beginners that he took up with him slipped, crashed into one of the other chaps, and 4 of them slid off. And the rope that was between Edward Whymper and one of the more experienced climbers, that rope failed. So the 4 beginners essentially went down to their death this way, where Edward Whymper and the guide were safe, and they came back down. And everybody was in uproar over it. If you read, what is it, Scrambles in the Alps? I can't remember the name of the book now, Edward Whymper's book, but there's fantastic stories there. I think Queen Victoria was on the edge of trying to ban people from climbing mountains. But that's all I wanted to say about mountains. But with Carnethy, that's a picture on the summit. With Carnethy in 2011, I said, look, on the 11th of November 2011, let's have a photography competition, and we did. And okay, I think they let me win it only because I was naked climbing up a bit of steel. But I wanted to build on my success, obviously, the next year, and I built on my success the next year by getting my little titanium Linsky mountain bike and strapping it to a post, the same post actually, and again a naked thing. It was flipping freezing. If anybody watching, I'm going to zoom in and just say, that is the tip of my saddle actually, nothing else, I promise you. And then on the back of my success, linking Graham as well, Graham Nash, put this up on that same piece of steel pipe in the Pentlands, and I think he won it that year as well, which is like 2013. So in 2011, 2012, and 2013, those 3 years were won at this steel girder. Okay. So a few more things. If you don't succeed, this is just talking about the 3 Peaks cyclocross race very quickly. This is the bronze statue that I made in honour of my friend Julian Hartwell that died. It's the over 60s trophy. And this poor old chap, he died of lung cancer in 2003. And so if you go in the 3 Peaks, you'll see that. And also Carnethy, I've given Carnethy one of these bronze statues as well. And it's for the Radical Runner, of course. And I spied some Carnethys on the start line one year. There's John Ashcroft, there's Craig O'Donnell, and there's Tim Darlow here. Tim's looking real well up for this. And the cycling kit was designed by Russ, whose surname has escaped me for a minute. But yeah, really good cycling gear. I don't think we're affiliated anymore, but yeah, good kit it was. And here's Jamie ascending Penny Ghent or something like that, maybe the last hill. This is Craig, this is Tim Darlow, Craig again. John Ashcroft descending. It's a tough race. It's the mountains of Whernside, Penny Ghent, and blimey, I've only done it 22 times. I've nearly forgotten which mountain it is. But yeah, it's 3 mountains in the North York Moors. And like it shows here, you're carrying your bike up these hills and then cycling down the other side. Hell of a lot of carrying. Maybe a good time, certainly at age of 60, is about 4 hours. So you've probably had your bike on your back for 2 hours. Half of the race is carrying your damn bike. So this is me going up Penny Ghent. This is titanium light-speed cyclocross bike, cost a flipping fortune, and you're going to ride it in all sorts of conditions. So on the way up, I'm pretty fresh. On the way down, I'm desperate, really, really. If you've given all on that last mountain, you've gone flat out for 4 hours or something. Yeah, 4 hours, 2 minutes. I've been quicker. I think 3:34 was ever my best. Not even an elite time. But now, yes, if I could get near 4 hours now, I'd be chuffed. The Vet 60 record is just gone down to 3:53. Yeah, and this is the light-speed cyclocross bike again, going through one of the puddles or something, coming back from. This is going back up Penny Ghent, the last mountain. That was so cold that day. Somebody asked me how I got on, and I could barely talk. My flipping throat my jaw is almost locked. So just a few slides saying, look, I'm not the one with talent. Okay, I'm on two wheels just about, but the kid with talent is my son, I reckon. He's got talent. Wow. One of these things he did 2 years ago was be in the Tomb Raider film here. You can see this is the bike they gave him for Tomb Raider. There's a couple of shots there, top left of the Tomb Raider film. There's only one decent sequence in the whole film as far as I'm concerned. It's cycling scenes are quite good. They're ripping around and there's crashes and stuff. So this is Sam here on the right with Lee Morrison. I know Lee from motocross days, and he's the chief, what you would call him, like a chief stunter organizer he is. He's just done James Bond film, James Bond 25 he was calling it, because it's the 25th edition, but of course that's been put back till October sometime. We won't see that, but Lee's the main stuntman. He was going to be a fantastic motocross rider until he broke his neck. There's something like 50. He used to say there was 50 meters of wire in there. Maybe he's got a zero in the wrong place. He certainly had a massive prank. And this is the section of the film that you see. Yeah, this is Sam just posing again. But yeah, he can ride a bike, that kid. The other thing he can do, though, he seems to have got from me, is that he's quite decent at making structures. These are jumps and humps and stuff that he's making. And I don't even know which way they'll go on this one. Up here and down there, I don't know. Anyway, Andalusia bike race quickly. Done this a few times. I just want to scoot through this, really. It's 10 to 9 already. But this is a 6-day mountain bike race in southern Spain. You wouldn't want to go there now because they've got thousands and thousands of coronavirus problems, haven't they? But yes, it's a 6-day mountain bike race, totally off-road, apart from that bit. This is my friend Tim. We fell out a little bit, and this is me on the right. 6 days of this stuff. He's an animal. Tim is a real strong rider. When he did the marathon series, mountain bike marathon series in the UK, he was 11th in the whole of the UK. So he was ripping my legs off every day, absolutely killing me. I nearly lost it in this shot, and Tim is just behind me thinking, why? Easy, Tiger, I think he's probably saying. I've usually got my tongue out, yeah, just about, look. So we finished that. That was the first time he'd ever done it. And it just killed me. 6 days of real torture. Then very briefly, I did it with Craig O'Donnell here. Look, we did it in Carnethy colours in 2013, the following year as well. And there was some, Craig had got zip problems on that day, but one of the races was cut down because of a lot of snow high up. 2014, I did it as well with my friend Bob. You can just see Bob in the background there. I was captain this time, which was a change. I've never been captain before. So that was quite nice. Bob was this second Bob, that was Bob in the front, Bob behind. He was always cheerful. He broke his finger. He fell off probably 3 times a day easily. So 18 or 20 times for the 6 days, but he always stayed fantastically cheerful. And his sons tell me to this day, look, we thought little Bob, i.e. me, was going to kill him. But one of the people with us on that race looked at his face and said, that is skin cancer, that is. That has got to come off when you get home. No, not Wednesday or Tuesday. get it off on Monday. We've got a cancer specialist doing the race with us, and it basically saved Bob's life. He got it. Okay, there's so much mud on his face there, but yeah, he had a mark on his face that was skin cancer. Yeah, so we had a pretty tough day this day. We were in the vet 50s, and half of the vet 50 team actually pulled out of the race that day. The best way I found, I haven't got my sunglasses on there, but the best way I found to clean my sunglasses was to pee on them. Apologies. Because you don't want to be rubbing them with your fingers and gloves and stuff. So yeah, look, that's 6 odd hours we've been outside and that stuff. And then I had a DNF in 2015, again teamed up with Tim, but I'd just come back from America. I got a funny swollen face. I had a right nightmare. I pulled out. I let everybody down, but it happens, doesn't it? London Marathon then, just 10 minutes and we'll be finishing just after 9 or something like that. So London Marathon. I just got pulled some data off the website because Jane Robertson looks 2:48, Sharon Bird 2:51, Kate Jenkins 56, Maggie Creeber. Maggie Creeber's obviously won the Ben Nevis race at least once. Obviously Angela Mudge has won it a number of times, but Carnethy, ladies, we've got some really good marathons in there. Same with the men. Owen is up here, look, with a 2:29. There are some big names in here, look. Loads of people. Ollie's there, I'm there, just about. This, Graham's there. Actually, to be fair, Graham Nash, that's a beginner. That was one of his early runs, a 2:58. His sister's done a 2:32 or something ridiculous like that. So there's some really good genes going on in that Nash family. And I think that's a fantastic run. Brian Waldy, I don't know if this is a typo, but at the age of 63, he did a 2:59. You know, if you look at the London Marathon times at the moment, the top 3 might just about go under 3 hours in the London Marathon. So, you know, in 2001, he could have won London Marathon with that had he done London. So that's a fantastic effort. Just quick look at my times. I was really struggling to get under 3 hours. It was a bit of a project, really. 2001, I didn't make it. 2002, I scraped a bit nearer. 2003, I went down to 2:55.19. Those are numbers I'll always remember. And of course, Paul has done a 2:15. I think is it 24? I've got it down as a 25 here. Something like that, 2:15.25. And it's only just been beaten in a pair of those carbon shoes, what they call them, not Speedfly. I can't remember the name of them. But that 2:15 has only just been beaten. I mean, in a pair of Vaporflies, that's what I meant to say, Vaporflies, yeah. And then I got another couple under 3 hours, and then I thought to myself, no, that 2:59, here's a picture of the 2:59. My brother beat me by 25 seconds. The both of us hadn't really trained enough, and we just scraped under 3 hours. So in 2005, I said, right, in 2006, I'm going to do fancy dress. And that's what started it, really. Let's do something easier. It must be easier to run a marathon than flat out. So I decided, you can see what I'm going to be making here is a Dalek. And some of the construction photographs just quickly go through. This is me on my lathe making the, bit for the main gun type thing on the lathe. Don't do this at home, kids, with a bit of emery paper held in your hands. You should never leave a drill in the tail, stuff like that. This is an American South End lathe, actually. Lovely bit of kit. I've still got it. There's a drill machine back there. You should have a breathing mask on, I know, but I'm milling stuff by hand here as well. Again, for the Dalek, of course. And then here in the bottom left, you can see the first sort of mock-up of this is what it's going to be like inside this thing for 6-7 hours, whatever the time is. The main frame, it was built to make it as light as possible. This bottom section down here, the bottom third, that took, I think it was 3 attempts or something. I've been the first 2 attempts to make this, just about got it to my I was happy with this one because it's got to break in half. It's got to go in the car. You've got to transport it. The flipping papers were after it before I'd even finished the damn thing. You know, this far from finished, some of this stuff. And here's Nikki, my ex-wife, lovely as she is, with the finished Dalek. And this is the Jake, our German Shepherd. He was an ex-prison, ex-police. I'd never do it ever again. He's a lovely, alert dog, but what a handful he was. And we're just finishing the damn thing off in the living room. And there's Rolly. If I'm going to have a picture of Jake, I've got to have a picture of Rolly. Rolly went July last year. We had to put down what a loss to humanity that dog was, losing that dog. And then we got pictures like this taken on the race day, which was really nice. Supporters down there. My daughter Naomi's there. Sam's there with his girlfriend at the time. And after the race, we had more pictures. There was a light on the front that worked. These lights used to work. We've got our medals, and we've had enough. This something like 7 hours and 28 minutes inside that thing. My son Sam is in there at the moment, just holding it while we pose for the cameras. But yeah, 7 hours 28. That's nearly 30 pounds in the end to carry that thing. So I was struggling. Sorry about the leggings; they're a bit much. Yes, and the papers used that image as a caption competition. Don't ask my permission. And then I'm a little bit galling, but I'm rated 15th best costume ever in the I think it's the Daily Telegraph. I think. Well, I'm 15th. It nearly killed me making that damn thing. And then we ran a Edinburgh 10K in it as well. There's Nikki, and Nikki's brilliant. And we got it up Ben Nevis in the end as well. That's Michael. He left the club. I think this is about 2008, and I think he left the club in about 2008. Craig O'Donnell's left the club now as well. And of course, it was a cheat, really. I made these wooden handles to carry the damn thing up. To climb up the Ben Nevis inside that thing would have been a nightmare. Then moving on quickly, in 2014, I thought, I'm going to make myself a Hoover, and I'm going to run the London Marathon as Freddie Mercury. And I did, as you can see here. But London Marathon wouldn't allow any wheels at all or anything. So I had to scrap this homemade Hoover, and I had to do it use a normal Hoover. That was fantastic fun. The most fun in the world. I got my splits written down on the back of the Hoover. I want to skip this pretty quickly, but this actually got a world record, but it's supposed to be an ostrich. I wanted to make this ostrich, as you can see here. This is the final thing, and I'm looking at those black panels there. I couldn't really see where the hell I was going, but it got a Guinness World Record in 5 hours 50. Bit too much leg showing, really. I do apologise. Skip over that slide pretty quick. But then I lost the record anyway. This chap in, three-dimensional bird, brackets male, in this thing, killed me in it, but never mind. 2016, I thought I'm going to make something a bit better this time. I'm going to make a two-man canoe. Oh, Rolly's there. Good for you, Rolly. There she is. And this two-man canoe, the design just came out of my brain and materialized. Oh, sorry about that. The design just materialized in my front room. I haven't got the log burner in there by then. And I was quite pleased with it. The lovely looking thing in the end. Then I didn't know what to cover it with, and I went on a trip to America to teach stress analysis and stuff, and I saw these cushions that they put on the backs of your seat, to keep your hair off from staining the seats. So I nicked all these tissue covers, and it's all covered with tissue. And there's the finished thing. This is about 100 yards after the start of London Marathon. Our minder is with us. Richard, he's only about 26 at the time. He's in the front, and me in the back. Horrendous. Because, to run it together, you had to stay in step. We had a dreadful time, actually. All the oars are totally handmade. They're hollowed out. They're nylon covered, hollowed, so they can be light as possible. But we failed to get the record. We were over 5 hours, the two of us in that thing. The people that did get the record are supposed to be a horse and rider. They got the world record. So you can swear at these guys all you like. I think that's, you know, that's not a two-man record in my book. Never mind. Quickly, let's think about 2017. I wanted to be the fastest potato head man. The official potato head man is this chap. He's done a 3:38 in this costume. And I wanted to make a better costume than that. No way was I going to run in a bit of foam rubber with, no way. So the Mark I was just similar to the normal way of making things. Like the ostrich was made with this wooden frame, then the Mark I potato, as you can see there, was made in exactly that same way. But I scrapped that effort. No way was I going to get anywhere near 3:38. And Guinness World Records let me start a new category. 3-dimensional toy brackets male, 5 hours they gave me. So this is me now making Mark II. Forget about this thing on the left there. I made a new attempt. I just started with my washing basket. I just put some foam stuff with it, taped it. And then I've got this potato thing here. I made some eyes, I made spectacles, I covered them with nylon and doped them. I made ears. What are those things? Oh no, that's the new eyes. The old eyes were two together, and the new eyes were single, separate eyes. Look, that's the nose in red. These are the ears in pink. These are the glasses now, and this is the only thing I'm most pleased with is the hat, really. Then I had to cut the thing. The main shell had to then be cut apart and then put some, you know, like a method to carry this thing had to go inside there. And here we are with the finished thing. You can see where this thing has been put back together. The tongue is going to go on there. The moustache is going to go on there. It's all lightweight stuff, best I can. And that's essentially what it looks like when it's finished. Essentially, in 2017, I was 19 minutes, 20 seconds too slow. 9 miles out, I'm still pretty fresh. 20 miles. All men in the London Marathon are starting to moan at 20 miles, and all the females, all the women are happy. And I'm going to finish. So massive credit to all females. They're tougher than us, big time. This is my friend from Milton Keynes Athletic Club. This is Martin McFeet. He's what they call bandit. He's looking out for bandits. I can't remember what the proper title was now. But we're all chipped, and people are taking a colour copy of a number and running without a chip. And Martin is looking out for bandit. He's doing bandit catching duties. So we were too slow. I've only put this picture in because that's all you can see of my face looking through there for the entirety of the London Marathon. The next year I made it heavier, and this is a picture in front of all the other Guinness World Record hopefuls, just doing a bit of a dance for them, you know me. Show off in front of all these lovely people, yeah, that's me. But yes, you can see he's going to be a lock, and whatever. But yes, so in spite of it being heavier, I put more handles inside the thing, I put drinks in there, I put all sorts of things in there, and I got my 5 hours. The Guinness set me a time of 5 hours dead, and I was just 30 seconds underneath. It was a really tough last few miles. Here's one of our best runners in Gala. Sorry, Carnethy people. This is Marcus from Gala. He did a 2:35 that day, 2:37 that day, something like that. And then I've got to say a massive thank you to my daughter Anna and her husband to be soon, virus permitting, Russ. Because they helped me on the day. And I think that's quite a nice picture, that one. So Christmas 2019, this is what I was going to do. Oh, it's 6 minutes past 9. I'll try and keep you too much longer. Christmas 2019, I was going to do a Sheriff Woody from Toy Story. And he was happy about it, everything. And then, as you can see, COVID-19, 31st of March today, Woody is not too chuffed. what I wanted to try and do is a costume something like this. I found a picture of this and wanted to copy this. So I want to make a polystyrene, a paper mache head, and I want to be looking out through the mouth if I can, so nobody will see me. I want to make this big polystyrene head. Now, Fiona Hartree has put me onto a company called Best Buy Tucker, and they're making the shirt for me. I've sent to Germany for the shirt material, and I've made the buttons myself. Yeah, the head. Sorry, I couldn't turn this around, but the head I've scrapped that way of making it. Can't be made like that. But this is the buckle. These are the buttons I've made, and this was a test of the material, and that test was no good. It failed. We did some stitching work on some fabric, washed it, and then they all go crazy. But these are the trousers. These are women's jeggings. I think that's what they're called. They're size 12, I think, jeggings. And then I paid a lady to stitch these on and put these belt buckles on. I've made the belt buckle myself and the belt. So that's okay, this has got to be painted bronze yet, but that's the belt buckle. And then that's what the back of the trousers look like. So these are ladies' jeggings. So it's not just Mike Lynch that wears ladies' clothing. I'll be running the 2020 London Marathon in October, hopefully. So that's the head. The head has gone back down to a standard template now, and I've got to try and make a paper mache head around it. Closing remarks. Everybody's thinking, good job, Bob. It's nearly 9:10. So a massive project for me was to try and get under 2 hours for the Ben Nevis Hill race, and I finally did that in 2014, like a 1:58. Some of the good runners in the club, John Blair Fish, never went over 2 hours. There are other people that are going to be mentioned in a minute that are usually under 2 hours as well, but 2 hours for a runner like me is a hard race. What I want to do very quickly is concentrate on 2018, which is the British Championship round, and there were 132 people that went under 2 hours. Usually it's only 60 or 70 people that go under 2 hours. In 2019, i.e. last September, there's only 45 because it was so hot, but I'll come to that in a second. So here's Finlay Wild going up. This is Victoria Wilkinson going up. I think I've spotted here Fergus and Stephen going up, but I think that is also Simon, isn't it? There, look, as well. I think that's Simon Titmus, I think. Then this is Finlay Wild coming down, 1:27.35. He did a PB that day in 2018. He's just about 2 minutes exactly now shy of the record set by Kenny Stewart in 84 or something like that. I emailed Mickey, the organizer of the race, and said to Mickey, what happens, how much money does Finlay Wild get, or any other, somebody from Carnethy perhaps, if you can do a 1:25.33, how much money will you get, prize money? But I've not had a reply back from Mickey, so I don't know. Victoria Wilkinson took the record that day. The record has been held otherwise by Kenny Stewart's wife since 84, something like that. So Victoria Wilkinson now holds the record, 1:43.01. Our own Jasmine Paris was second lady, just 7 minutes shy, 1:50. And as far as I could tell, Liam Brady in 2018 was our first runner home, Carnethy home, 1:46.05. A few more. Alex McVeigh's always taking the mickey out of me for getting under 2 hours, so I just wish he was over 2, but he's well under. Nigel's under. Martin's just under. And Stephen had a massive fall. I didn't see him for the rest of the day. I just met Keith in Fort William saying that Stephen had gone off to hospital, and he vowed never, given that he was over 2 minutes, he vowed never to run again, or certainly the Ben Nevis race anyway, and he didn't run in 2019. Hopefully he will run in 2020. He's a fantastic downhill, fantastic runner. Fergus and Simon. this chap was first at 16, Mike Wallace. He was British champion in the end. He did a 2:04, and I was first loser at 60. I was the second. I was the next one in 2:07. So he did me by 3 minutes. So, and I took it down 4 as well, but you know that 4 cost me obviously 4 minutes. Whatever. And then there's Alan and John. Names are starting to go from here. People can pitch in with names. And then let's just move to 2019. Such a hot year that only 45 got under. Finley let me take this picture of him. I actually emailed him because all this stuff was used on my Christmas card, and I sent Finley Wild a Christmas card. He sent a reply back, a lovely reply. Thanks very much to him. So some super pictures taken by Steve Bates on the way up there and on the way down. And Charlie Ramsey always said to me, "Move up, Bob." And I think, Christ, I'm moving up best I can. You know, I'm struggling. Of course, Charlie Ramsey would have done a 147, 148 in this race. He would have been well in front of me. I'm just going to jump over this stuff very quickly. All I'm trying to do in my life is draw a graph, fitness against age in years. And if I put my age down here, 0 to 90, and I pretend that as I get older and older, I get fitter, maybe the fittest I ever am is 30, and then you're starting to go downhill then, to maybe when I croak it, maybe 90. I don't know. Could be sooner. If you read the Tim Noakes book, which is what's it called, like the Law of Running or something like that, Tim Noakes does talk about the gradient of that in terms of seconds per mile per year and stuff. I can't remember that details now, but that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to take any medication. I'm trying to do it totally naturally. If I drop myself back, then, you know, somebody else that's fitter, but maybe they've, you know, I don't want to be too unfair, but, you know, this coronavirus, you know, is it because people are relying on medication too much, or is it a certain blood type, or is it smokers, or is it being overweight? You know, what is it? I'm so interested with this virus that can we learn from it and observe all the stuff from it and sort of, it's a shock to humanity at the moment, but can we learn from it? What have I been doing lately? In the last few days, I've just been cutting a few logs, as you can see here. I was cutting away there. I found a bit of ash down, and somebody shouted, "Oi," and had a go at me, the farmer. In the end, I sweet-talked him to let me have some wood for 20 quid. Went back to the horse, went back to his yard the next day, and the flipping dog bit me, and I've got 4 perfect little marks on my leg where this dog's had me. So I could measure across these quite positively and ID the dog easily. But yeah, 20 quid. I've had some more wood today as well from Walkerburn Rugby Club, so I've got loads of wood. And then finally, that picture there, that is my backside. I do apologise. Hopefully you didn't notice, and thank you and good night. That's lovely of you. It's 9:15. I think I've taken about 50 minutes instead of 45.
Bob, can you hear me? It's Ollie here.
Yes, I can hear you.
That was fantastic, Bob.
Wow.
I'm sure that everybody else enjoyed that. And just wondering, in terms of feedback, maybe people could put stuff in the chat window or on the Carnethy Facebook page if you're there, or email Bob direct. I'm sure he'd love to get some feedback.
Yeah.
Really, really entertaining. And it's almost the best type of person, which you are almost the best type of person of appearing normal on the surface, but just being completely mad underneath. Is that a compliment? No, that's very lovely of you, Ollie. It's a huge compliment.
I'm trying to cram as much as I can into this fabulous life that we're having, you know, even as we are in this damn virus.
Yeah. And are you able to see the chat window? Because you're getting some feedback from people already. So
yes, I can